It is Market Movers on a Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. The wrong shot. There we go. Now we've got the right shot. We're on the GoPro. Hanging out here. It is a marketing team edition of Market Movers. That's Amy Hashem. I'm Dan Koob, and joining us remotely from the room next door is Greg Rappaport. We do make up about 75% of the marketing efforts here at SportTrade. 75? 60?
75.
75% of the team hanging out. The other 25% currently getting his tires changed somewhere in Camden, New Jersey. Welcome to Studio S in Camden at SportTrade HQ. We have a really fun show today because Greg and Amy are our resident diehard Jets fans. We have to talk about the Jets because as we mentioned with Anita Marks yesterday, they have actually returned some of the best value of any NFL team that you could be trading on SportTrade so far. And also, let's just clear the air, Amy. We're in the same room. Mets, Phillies. The Mets have owned the Fightins, but the Mets have backslid here in the second half of the MLB season. They are slated to take on the Washington Nationals in about 4 minutes, but it doesn't seem like they're going to get that game in. Not that it matters, but I do want to ask you this, Amy.
Yep.
Mets going to be probably taking on the Padres, right? In the wild card series, best of 3 wild card series, new for this year, starting at the tail end of the week, Friday, slated for the first game of MLB postseason. How are you feeling? Let's take the temperature of Mets fans right now.
A little deflated. Not gonna lie. Started off the season with a lot of excitement. The roster was looking good. The coaching was looking good. The hitting was looking good. It's tough to see the Braves just somehow come back and obviously take the NL East. But what disappoints me more is the position that the Mets put themselves in, not necessarily just with the wild card game, but if you were to look at the bracket currently as it stands with the postseason.
We are right now.
Yep, there you go.
Yikes, yeah.
Yeah,
That's not good.
I feel confident about the Padres. I think that they can get out of that series, but man, just to take on the Dodgers, I was really hoping that wouldn't happen until the NLCS.
Well, imagine a scenario, Amy, where you've got to win 2 out of 3 against San Diego. Yeah. Now, because of the format, all those games will be in Flushing. So positivity, right? Sure. Positive vibes. But then you'd have to go face LA. And then you face the real possibility of having to go then play the Braves again.
Right, exactly. So this is a very, very tough uphill to climb. And I just don't know. The momentum right now is not with the team. So if they can somehow build up the momentum, get the excitement going, I wouldn't count it out. But it's kind of like, man, we really just put ourselves in a tough spot.
Well, fresh off of a sweep as well, Atlanta sweeping a 3-game series. The last time they played, Atlanta took 3 out of 4 too.
Right.
So 6 of the last 7 times these two teams have met, Atlanta has come away with a win. Remind me of the time frame. So the Mets were up 10.5 games in the NL East at some point. I can't say I'm super locked in.
I would say around May.
Okay. So it's been some time.
Yeah, it's been time. I think the Braves have been clawing their way back after the All-Star break. They've been looking good. They have a young squad. They've set themselves up for the next 10 years. They are going to look good for a long time now. It's tough to keep going when you just feel like we were this close. Just why did you have to break down in the series? I do think throughout the season the Mets have had they struggled when it came to going against really tough teams. They struggled. They split with the Yankees. They've struggled with the Astros. So when it comes to the higher ranked teams, it hasn't always looked great.
Mets 0-1 since 1986, famously. What is it like as a Mets fan, kind of going through the? I mean, hey, look, before the Phillies, before the Phillies won in 2008, it had been 28 years since they won in 80, and prior to that, they had never won a World Series. And they started playing baseball in the 1880s. So I understand what it's like for you, right? What has it been like to kind of go through this every single year?
I mean, I wasn't alive the last time they won a World Series. But yeah, I think what was, the 2015 World Series, they came so close.
Unbelievable run.
Yeah, it was a great run. I remember getting the brooms out when they swept in the divisional series. I forget who they were playing, but yeah, they just to lose to the Royals, it's such a bummer that's how close we came, and then here we are trying to do it again, and the team has the right personnel, but just can't seem to make it happen.
Here's the markets on Sport Trade for Nationals and Mets Game 1. The Mets trading at 74.50 to win. The Nationals 26.50. The spread, the run line rather, 1.5 towards the Mets at 56.50. The Nationals 45, and the total 7.5 runs. The over at 47, the under 54.5. So our market makers on Sport Trade really digging the under in this game, and meteorologists really digging the weather. Not quite certain if we're going to see any baseball action here. Quickly, Greg, before we move on to your New York Jets, you are a Baltimore Orioles fan. Your reaction to them having a winning record this year?
It's basically like a World Series championship. I'm fulfilled. I'm happy.
Fulfilled.
Yeah.
Well, when they traded Trey Mancini, right at the trade deadline, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, Orioles are packing it in," and then lo and behold, they end up with a winning record.
Yeah, and actually, I actually tend to root against the Astros, but I like Mancini so much that I find myself rooting for him to. I would like him to win a World Series with the Astros. So I guess I'm kind of pulling for the Astros. I know.
Shame.
I know.
Boo this
it's more
man.
just it's not. Can you not just root for one player?
No, right? You're not allowed.
No. All right.
No.
That's what fantasy is for.
I can't.
But no, the Orioles are just, I mean, it's a great thing. I think it means we got the right manager in place for this rebuild. And I think it's one of those times where it's like, okay, like training wheels coming off next year. Now we should expect a winning season next year. I think Rutschman, if he continues to play, could, be an MVP candidate as early as next year based on his numbers so far this season. So I'm really excited for the future, but also keeping in mind we just don't have much of the pitching staff right now. So still need to work on that. But hitting wise, which is where it's at, we're looking good.
First winning season since 2016 this year for Baltimore. Yeah. So hopefully sunnier skies ahead. Let's turn our attention to brass tacks here. We're talking about your New York Jets, who are 2-2, I think for the first time in 8 years. Does that sound right? 2-2 after a big win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Zach Wilson coming alive in the final drive to get the win over Pittsburgh. Second highest passing total in his career Sunday during that game. They are going up against the Dolphins at home. So they'll be playing host at MetLife this weekend. And our market makers absolutely love the Fins, trading at 63.50 for the Dolphins to win. The Jets just at 38, so a very attractive potential buy low candidate. The spread 3.5 in favor of the Dolphins at 48.50. The Jets at 53 to cover 3.5. The over 44. Oh, that's what happens when you update graphics. That says runs, obviously we mean points. Over 44.5 points at 49.5, and the under 44.5 points at 52. So, Jets fans, what say you as we are approaching week 5 of the NFL? Amy, you go first.
I actually want to punt this to Greg.
Okay.
Because
Greg's got some fire takes that I'm really hoping we get to. So why don't you go ahead, Greg?
Well, I think just as it pertains to this market, as it pertains to this weekend's Dolphins game, the contract I'd be interested in there is Jets to win outright at 38. If you wanted to play the spread, it's nice. You got the hook. It's 3.5 instead of 3. Clearly, with it trading at 53, it's kind of moving that way. So that people like that plus 3.5 there. But I like it outright for a couple of reasons. Obviously, you have the positive momentum of the fourth quarter. But also you have a Dolphins team playing their backup quarterback. I know people definitely respect Teddy Two Gloves game. I do as well. I like Teddy Bridgewater. But I think, it's their backup. Their biggest strength as a team is their wide receivers, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And I would say one of the Jets' biggest strength through 4 games this season has been their cornerbacks. I think their defense overall hasn't played well, but their cornerbacks, Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, have been one of the absolute most shutdown pairings in all the NFL. So if you look at Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it's essentially kind of, a wash. Like if that matchup is kind of a wash to you, then I guess we'll see. Right? I mean, yeah.
I guess I did see a stat where Sauce Gardner allowed 2 receptions for, I think, 7 yards last week. So he's definitely returning value on that first round.
But that's the thing is everyone's talking about Sauce because, he's got the Buffalo Wild Wings
Lost
deal.
In the sauce. The greatest graphic I've seen.
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
But like DJ Reed, their biggest free agent signing from Seattle over the offseason has just been like a tried and true number 1 corner for us. So it's been kind of like an early glimpse to a return. I'm definitely not going to say like we're back at the Revis Cromartie days, but just to have 2 incredibly competent cornerbacks has been cool to see. So I think you can buy that with them being at home. I think the only thing in Miami's favor in the matchup is the extended rest because they played on Thursday night. So they're bringing in more extra days of rest to the game than the Jets are. Having played on Sunday, and actually the Jets face that same hurdle again the following week because their opponent the next week will be the Broncos, who will be the Thursday game as well.
So you don't think superior talent is also up against the Jets?
Again, I mean, we're playing against a backup quarterback. So
I have a question for you, Greg. What about the Dolphins' defense against Zach Wilson?
Good question.
Yeah, they do have some players on that team.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But, so do the Steelers. Like, the Steelers have some strong defensive players as well, and they showed it, picking off Wilson twice. But I think, Wilson spent the whole game knocking rust off. And after the rust came off and he came live in the fourth quarter, I think for anyone who's had to endure watching all of Zach Wilson's games like myself, they will tell you that that fourth quarter was the best he's looked ever in any game of his career. So if that is what was left when the rust got knocked off, then I'm excited for the weeks ahead. Definitely some like winnable games on the horizon. You're looking at the Patriots with their backup quarterback. You're looking at the Dolphins right now with their backup quarterback, and then the Broncos with my favorite new head coach, Nathaniel Hackett. So if they make it to the game on time, then we'll see.
So that's the optimistic.
You're definitely right about that, Amy.
So just how optimistic
let's hear
are we?
the other side.
Yeah, well,
I have the pessimist.
Okay, well, before we go there, let's hear how optimistic you are, Greg, because the markets don't agree with you. The Jets opened at 41 to win yesterday. They're now down $3 in only 24 hours, 238. You are higher on Zach Wilson than I think most people are. Just how high are you?
I'm not that high. I'm not like.
Now hold on. Earlier today, I wish we could play it back.
I know.
I wish we could play it
Where's
back.
the red
like that
challenge?
commercial.
Yeah.
That commercial.
Red challenge flag.
Earlier today, we're sitting around. Greg Rappaport said that he thinks that Zach Wilson has top 5 quarterback potential in the NFL.
That. Yeah,
based on
what does potential mean? I mean, like he could. That's the thing is like we don't know. Like, would you say that Daniel Jones has top 5 potential? No, because you've seen him play for 3 or 4 years now, and it's clear whatever his ceiling is below a top 5 quarterback.
But you're basing it off of one drive at the end?
No,
the fourth quarter.
I saw flashes last year, like overall.
Flashes.
Overall,
they were so quick, everybody else missed them.
Yeah.
All right, he's the number 2 overall pick. So, like, clearly, you don't pick a quarterback number 2 overall.
Does Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield have top 5 potential?
They had it when they were drafted. They had it when they were drafted. So,
so most NFL QBs can string a few plays together. So are they top 5 potential?
To me, it's about like the body of work. Like we just haven't seen enough from Wilson, whereas like there are quarterbacks that we have definitely seen enough from to know that they're quarterbacks in the league. They have a place in the league, but they're probably not going to be a top 5 quarterback.
Great comment here on the stream. And if you've got some, please jump in. This one from Tim. Is Wilson even a top 5 quarterback on the Jets right now? I definitely at least take Flacco, obviously elite, Mike White, go tops, and Braxton Berrios over him. Now, here's my question to Tim. Can Joe Flacco hit the gritty like Zach Wilson does?
No.
The jury. Well, the jury's
still
out.
The answer.
The jury's still out. I'm not.
I was very. Sure. Greg would know this. I was very nervous about that celebration, as I was like, "Okay, let's not tear anything in your knee after that again, please."
No, but the other thing about the Jets, if I could just
can we just real quick, Greg?
Yes.
This is something I've been longing to do on Market Movers. I want to price your take.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
Let's price your take. Amy, I'll start with you. Your price as a market maker on Zach Wilson's potential to be a top 5 quarterback.
We got a futures here.
Yep.
Top 5. Do we care about the length? At what point?
No.
How many years?
No. At any point in his career.
At any point in his career.
What are the
Does he have the potential to be a top 5 quarterback?
We're talking.
Okay.
We're pricing the potential.
We're
pricing the potential. Go ahead.
All right. I go $23.
Okay. You know, I really want to save Greg for last because he's going to do like 99.5. I'm going to say, what's he wear? Number 2? I'm going to say $2.05.
Ouch.
$2.05.
So you're shorting.
Yeah.
I'm shorting Zach Wilson's ability to be a top 5 quarterback.
Greg will take the other side of that.
I'm sure. Okay, Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, 97
but just to
and a half.
prove, because I feel like I have no credibility right now. I'm on this show. I'm wearing a Jets shirt.
You look like you work for the team.
This is not a Greg roast.
Background. Okay. But so to like maintain some credibility. But in my honest opinion too, I'll say 30. Okay. And so I know what you're thinking, like, whoa, you were so bullish on him. Again, I'm just saying he still has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback. I don't even necessarily think it will happen. So that's why I'm saying $30.
Okay.
But, you know,
you're buying low. And you
saying
think it'll go
there.
rise.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
The Jets, as I mentioned, down to $38 per contract this weekend, but they have been one of the best teams to find value on. They opened up in week 2 at $30.50, week 3 at $34.50, last week at $41, and then again at $41, but as I mentioned, back down to $38. So they have not gone into a game with a price higher than 41, and they're 2-2.
Yeah, so Greg and I talked about this too, is like, when does their luck run out?
You're going the other way.
Okay. Or she is like the biggest Jets hater on the block.
I'm not the Jets fan hater, where I have to take the pessimistic side to make sure that my expectations are met.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're not an Eagles fan? That's what it seems like.
But yeah, I mean, many years as a Jets fan, we have been on the other side of the luck when it comes to winning games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's use last Sunday as an example. They crossed the goal line barely and fumbled the ball. And any other year, we would not have gotten that touchdown. Like, I just feel like our luck just would have been like, no, that didn't count.
The Joe Douglas effect.
Yeah. So I do appreciate that we're coming back in the fourth quarter. We're not, taking a knee and like just taking the loss. Like the Jets are definitely still got some grit, but they definitely make a lot of mistakes and have gotten really lucky at the end. So it will be interesting to see with this Dolphins team. Are they gonna try and do things like mistake-free, like try and play a game mistake-free, and then I can tell you, are they a good team or not? But right now they just make a lot of mistakes and like get lucky in the fourth quarter.
I love quoting this stat because I think it's so good. This table from Rufus Peabody, his unit grades through week 4, which adjusts for all kinds of different things, but more or less it's an efficiency score for your team. And something to hang your hats on, guys. The Jets have a rush defensive efficiency of 86, which is top 6 in the National Football League. The problem is the pass defense is only a 25. Again, that's a 0 to 100 scale, very similar to the 0-100 scale that we use here at Sports Trade. 0 being not good, 100 being the best. So an 86 rush defense, a 25th pass defense, which matchup-wise doesn't really match up all that great going into the weekend against Miami. However, Miami's defense, just a 9 out of 100 for their pass defense. So you've got the weapons. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Tyler Cochran, right, has been great. Corey Davis, Breece Hall, Michael Thompson. I mean, you guys.
Presumably CJ Uzama is like alive somewhere in the building.
Yeah, big free agent acquisition that now can't even get on the field.
He's just right. His run blocking is what they've been using him for. So.
Okay. So given that the matchup may not be perfect, how would you approach this from a trading perspective this weekend?
Greg,
take
that one.
Well, first of all, Dan, you have me on the show. You besmirch my Jets, and then you keep putting your cursor on my face.
Again?
Looks like I got
some
sort.
It's like a little fly.
Sort of leftover
Sorry.
lunch.
There's a lot that if you're watching, there's a lot that goes on in this chair. So I apologize for having a little like the cursor fly right on here. I'll move it on mine. That way you don't feel so bad. Go ahead.
So they've been so far. The Jets at home have just been extremely limited on offense. Against the Bengals, they didn't score a touchdown. I can't remember exactly what they did against the Ravens, although I remember it was not much in their season opener on offense. So, but again, neither of those games were with Zach. Not that Zach is a panacea, but I do like the over here. The over 44.5 points.
Interesting.
At 52.
Yeah, not runs. Not runs. Point.
Because, again, to our viewers, yes, not runs. Mainly because of what you said about looking at this game from a more neutral perspective. Yes, the Jets corners have been good this year, but it's really like the safeties on the team and some of the second or the like nickelbacks too have allowed some big plays. So there's been explosive like 40 or more yard plays against the Jets, and when it comes to someone like a Jalen Waddle or a Tyreek Hill, those plays come in bunches. But I'm feeling like with how repressed they've been on offense at home so far, they're kind of due to have like an offensive breakthrough at home, the Jets. So I could see both teams scoring well into the 20s in this one. I'm kind of thinking a bit of a shootout. So I'm taking the over on this one.
Well, if you were looking at which teams score a lot of points, Miami 12th in the NFL with 12.5 points in the first half of games. The Jets at 9. So if you're putting those two together, you're already over 20 points. So that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I'm not counting that out.
I think as a neutral observer, I think the best value in sport trade is buying low and selling high, obviously, right? And the Jets have proven, again, to be one of the more profitable teams you could do that on, along with Atlanta, along with Jacksonville and Dallas. So from my perspective, I'm going to buy the Jets. I know between now and Sunday morning, I will be buying the Jets because I'm anticipating the market will continue to move away from them. So right now at 38, if they get down to 36, 36.5,
place that limit order.
I mean, place the limit order. To me, that just makes all the sense in the world. So we'll wrap up the show with that. Amy, how would you approach it? And then we'll get your predictions as Jets fans. What's actually going to happen on the field?
Yeah, so I actually wouldn't place a pregame bet.
Okay.
So I definitely want to see
in-play trading. You're all in-game trading.
I'm a little bit more of a let me take the temperature of the first quarter, and then if the Jets can put together a touchdown run, okay, like maybe the price is up now. I doubt that they're. I feel like the markets are still going to favor the Dolphins, even with that. So I could still buy low, but I definitely feel like I need to see some spark in the beginning of the game before I take the Jets. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah. My whole thing about this game is I don't think my little heart can handle another late game Jets comeback. So I'm just hoping that they jump ahead early and stay there, because if they fall behind, probably rather them just stay behind, not send me into cardiac arrest again. So
correct.
Fair enough. Interesting trend about this Jets team. 2-2, 0-2 at home, 2-0 on the road. They are obviously at home this weekend against a very good offense. All right, that'll wrap up Market Movers on a Tuesday. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Amy. No show tomorrow, but we are back on Thursday with the Captain Jack Andrews. Will be in Studio S with us live, and we will take you through with a potential MLB playoff preview. Get some insights from Captain Jack Andrews. This has been Market Movers on a Tuesday. We'll see you in a couple days.